What up, everybody? I'm Dave Miranda, and this is episode 60 of Just Give Me 5. I hope you guys are doing great. Continue to be amazing. We got a really awesome show lined up for you today. Trust me on that one. But if you guys caught episode 59, you saw we had none other than my man DJ Chris Villa on. And let me tell you, when he was telling that story about being at Jazzy Jeff's retreat, that was incredible. Because it's like, man, like he said, you know, it's like here's a kid coming from Arizona to be over there, be around nothing but legends, and just soaking up so much game, you know, and knowledge. And I mean, that was just incredible, man. You know what I'm saying? And Chris has so many other stories. I mean, for him to be the Cardinals, the Suns, the D-backs DJ, I mean, the guy's definitely been doing his thing out here for a very long time. It was an honor to have him on the show. So shout out to you, my brother, and make sure you guys watch episode 59. All right. But today's guest has been a powerful figure in the Arizona community for so many years now. We're going to talk about her early days in radio, as well as some special moments. We're also going to talk about her Mahalo maid business that she has now, and much more. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you Lady La.
Hey, I am Lady La. Everybody calls me La, though. I need some chapstick, and all I'm saying is just give me 5. Probably avoiding student debt. I would probably say that, you know. I never had dreams of being on the radio or being known or famous or any of those things, really. I was just a first-generation kid, the oldest in my family, and I was trying to get to college, and I didn't want to start my life out in debt. So, you know, in natural overachiever status, you know, I was at school, 19 credit hours, working a handful of jobs, and I was like, you know what? I'm probably on the cusp of what is a nervous breakdown. So I should probably do something for fun, because I tell this story all the time. I walked into my dorm room, and my roommates were jumping on the bed, bottles of alcohol, having the time of their life. And I was like, you know what? I don't do anything just for fun. Yeah. Like, I should do something just for fun. And I was like, well, what do I like to do? And I was like, I love listening to the radio. I love listening to music, but I'm not an artist. I'm not a musician. You know, so I was like, what's my favorite radio station? And I applied for an internship there. And I hit up, I think it was Joey, and I went back and forth on MySpace. Joey boy. Yeah. And he was like, man, if you're serious, come in. Right. So I went through the interview process, became an intern, and they never let me leave. So I think my first contract was $25,000 a year. I thought I was rich. Yeah. So. But guess what? I don't have student debt, and I never had it, so it worked. I know, as somebody who grew up in the city listening to the radio station they became a part of, I know that the first time we did an artist interview, or the first time, you know, an artist came to the station and I was there, I thought, I will never forget this. Right. I'll never. I can't even tell you who that person is now, you know, because we're just human and we all get jaded, you know, and like, so a lot of times I don't have all those memories on deck to spit back. It'll be like, now that I'm away from it, and now I'm not in the grind of it all, and now that I'm not going to the next thing and the next thing, it'll be like when I see a movie clip or I hear a song and go, hey, remember that one time? And I realized I was the only person that was there. Right. And so I don't share those stories too often because you don't want to sound like that person, but every now and then I remind myself as I go through life, like, hey, I remember being in a room with that person or in this instance or whatever. But one time I just remember that throughout the years with Bruno Mars, he would come into the station. He wasn't, you know, the huge star that he is now. He hadn't done Super Bowl or anything like that.
Yeah, he's on the come up. Yeah.
But yeah, he was coming to the station all the time, and me and my family knew who he was because he's from Hawaii, and He's also Filipino like me. So it was like, we were always kind of like, oh yeah, you're always like waiting for him to come by. And so plenty of times he came, we were cool. We've always texted back and forth and whatnot. And he would play shows in Old Town and nobody would come. Like nobody knew who he was, nobody anything. We would stay all the way to the end, me and my friends, and cruise with him and stuff like that. And so finally, he was on tour, he was big, Grammy nominated, huge.
Right.
And I go, oh man, I've been to all his shows like a million times. I don't need to go to this one, you know? Oh, you could text him and ask for tickets. And I was like, nah. I never like to ask for anything, nothing. So I was like, no, I never hit him up.
Yeah.
So I'm at home, getting ready for bed, and my best friend texts me and she's like, hey, I got these Bruno tickets. Will you come with me? And I was like, nah, I'm not even ready, you know. She's like, they're gonna go to waste if you don't come.
Right.
So just come with me. And I was like, fine, I ain't gonna look cute or nothing.
Right.
But I'll go,
Yeah.
you know. So I threw my hair in a bun, put a little outfit on, met my best friend, and we went.
Yeah.
Neither one of us knew that they were front row tickets. So when we got there, they kept walking us down, and we were going, oh, no, like, what are we doing here?
Am I on stage time? You know what I mean? Yeah.
So we sit in the front row. So we're like, well, damn, it's a good thing we came out. We didn't waste these tickets, you know?
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there, and one of Bruno's best friends, his name is Phil.
Okay.
And I know Phil really well, too, from over the years.
Yeah.
So Phil's background dancing, singing, and we make eye contact. And I look at my best friend and I go, they're gonna mess with me. I could feel it. They're gonna mess with me. I know they're making too much eye contact, like I know, you know, on some Big Brother stuff, you know?
Right.
So sure enough, halfway through the concert, they bring the music down, and Bruno's like, I'm looking for a girl. And I was like, I literally was like looking away, like, don't do it.
Like, let's leave now.
Do not do it.
Right.
And sure enough, he's like, you. And I was like, he's like, what's your name? Like he doesn't know me. And I was like, La. And like, you can, you know, you can find there's clips of it on YouTube because other people were filming and whatnot.
Right.
But I was so mad because I was like, you're gonna pick me when I'm looking busted and in the front. And then, you know, he made fun and light and whatever. And the concert was incredible.
Yeah.
And, you know, our radio stations were beefing at the time, like who was going to be the best morning show and this, that, and whatever. So the record label ended up calling my boss, and my boss called me into the office and was like, did you know that was going to happen? You know, the label's concerned that he was giving you guys unfair advantage over, you know, And I go, did you see my face? I was like, I wouldn't have showed up like that if I knew that was gonna happen, you know? So it's just a funny memory, and it was funny because it was a reflection of my friendships and my relationships, not so much what the industry was doing for me, but how I connect with artists and how I connect with people over the years. When nobody was going to their shows and nobody was going to their thing, I was. You know what I mean? On the strength, you know? And so he gave me a memory that was like, and even the record rep texted me later that night, was like, did you know that was gonna happen? I said, man, no. And I go, no, I didn't know that was gonna happen. And he goes, man, that's one you can't forget right there. And I go, I agree, man. So that was a good one. That was a good one. That's one that pops to mind first. The other one was one of the craziest nights of my life. Kanye was here for Glow in the Dark tour again. It wasn't.
Was Lupe with him on this one?
Lupe was with him. Rihanna was with him.
Yep.
NERD was with him.
Okay.
And it was hyped. You know, everybody was like super hyped for this Glow in the Dark tour and this whole thing. And one time when I was in LA working on something totally different, some skaters were around and I just started talking to them. And one of the skaters was like the promo kid for NERD. He goes, hey man, you're pretty cool. Want to come check out the NERD tour bus? And, you know, if I couldn't have beat him up, I wouldn't have followed him there, but I could beat him up. So I was like, all right, let's go to the bus. Let's check it out.
Cool,
yeah, I'm good. I'm not advising that anybody do that. But at that time, it was cool. So we went. It was legit. He was part of the crew, He was a super cool guy. We stayed in contact, whatever. He goes, if we're ever in town, I'll hit you up. Yeah, okay, cool, whatever. Didn't think anything about it. So the tour's back in town, and what I know, my little buddy hits me up like, hey, you want to come to the show? Yeah, okay, cool. I'll take some tickets, you know.
Yeah.
Station was probably going to give us a couple anyways. They're probably going to be terrible tickets, but I would have taken those too, you know.
Right.
I'm just a kid who grew up here. Like, I wasn't even allowed to go to concerts when I was in high school. So now I take anything, you know. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
Exactly.
So he goes, yeah, okay, come to the side of the stage and we'll give you the passes.
Yeah.
They're backstage passes, all access.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, why? How?
Right.
Of course this happens to me. Stuff like this always happens to me because I make conversation with whoever, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, how random that this random kid that I met was like, yeah, okay, yeah. So we're backstage. Nothing to do with the radio station, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And I have my best friend with me because I have 2 passes.
Right.
So get backstage. Next thing you know, Lupe's back there playing basketball. Boom, they got a hoop backstage. So Lupe's playing basketball, and I'm like, they're like, you want in? I'm like, yeah.
Right.
So I'm shooting hoop with Lupe Fiasco backstage, and I'm like, and my best friend's like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, I don't know. But I say yes. You know what I mean? Like, yes,
Yeah.
okay. She's like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm friends with this guy, Shay, from NERD too. So Shay comes out, and he's like, hey, you came. Da, da, da. I'm like, wait right here. I'll be right back. I'm like, okay, cool. So me and my best friend are waiting, and Pharrell walks in.
Yeah.
Pharrell's all, what are you doing in my room? I was like, I was told to wait here. Like, then he was like, you can't wait in here, get out. And I was like, that was kind of disrespectful, but also you're Pharrell, so let me not, okay. So I just step outside of the room, you know, and I don't say anything. But he was a dick.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So we're waiting outside, and I go, dude, did I just get kicked out of out of Pharrell's room? This is crazy, you know? My best friend's like, I don't know, dude. So after that, Shay comes back and gets me, and he's like, hey, what's going on? I go, why'd you tell me to wait in Pharrell's room?
Yeah.
And Pharrell's his bandmate, you know? So he's like, why, what happened? Tell me what happened. I was like, no, man, I don't even want to talk about it. He's like, no, tell me what happened. I go, we got in a fight, dude. He's yelling at me. I was telling him, calm down, be respectful.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not being disrespectful. Like, you know, da-da-da.
Right.
He's like, bet. So he goes, come with me. So we go into another room, and it's Kanye's birthday that night that the tour's in there. So there's a piñata swinging, and Kanye has the bat, and we all sing Kanye happy birthday.
Wow.
And he breaks the piñata in the room, and da-da, and I'm going,
Wow.
what? And one of Kanye's best friends is one of my best friends. So my best friend's like, yo, La. And I'm like, yo. And he's like, what are you doing back here? I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
And so we hug, you know, so it's like, that's family. And Pharrell comes back. And Shay's like, yo, you know Pharrell? And I go, Shay, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do
Yeah,
that, man.
yeah, man.
Don't do that. And they go, hey, La, take a picture. So it's me, Pharrell, Kanye, and one of my friends who I consider family in this photo. Like, we all kick it all the time. Boom.
Right.
And then I walk out of the room, and Shay goes, Pharrell, apologize. And I was like, are you really gonna make Pharrell apologize to me? Like, come on, man, I'm already past it. I'm having the best night of my life already. Like, you know, I don't care.
Exactly.
And Pharrell apologizes.
Wow.
And he goes, why didn't you say who you were with? And I go, why does it matter who I was with? I was like, why didn't you just respect me as I was respecting you? And he goes, fair.
Nice.
And then that was it. I've never seen Pharrell again, but
Brought him down to earth, though.
you know, and he was
man.
like, why didn't you tell me that you were with so-and-so? And I was like, what does that matter? When I was like cool, collected, I was like, okay, yeah, no problem.
Step back here.
Yeah, I'm like,
Right.
you can't just get back here, you know?
Right.
So yeah, so that was the whole thing. And then after that, Rihanna comes down the hallway and she's like, "Law," because she remembers me from a few of our interviews. We hug and kiss, selfie, boom. She's like, meet my mom. So I hug and kiss Rihanna's mom. And then right behind Rihanna was Muhammad Ali.
Wow. Wow.
Apparently that was Kanye's birthday gift that year, was him meeting the greatest of all time. Because, you know, that's his whole thing. That's his whole mantra. That's everything.
Nice.
So Muhammad Ali, rest in peace, has his daughter with him.
Yeah.
And his daughter's like his handler because, you know, he's not really speaking and, you know, whatever. So she's right there and I go, I'm gonna ask. I know I'm asking too much from the universe right now, but I'm gonna ask, can I get my photo? You know, so I ask her, I go, if it's okay, do you mind if I get a photo? And she goes, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
And I was like shaking with my little digital camera, and I was like, okay, here. So he puts his hand like right around my waist, and his daughter goes, "Ooh, he likes you."
Right.
So he still had a little fight, you know. But it was just like, and my best friend got her photo too, and we left there like I never saw the show, I never saw one performance, because we were backstage the whole time having these experiences, boom, 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 one after another, all in the same night.
Right.
And I left that night, and I remember I went home, and I was like, I had that moment of like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
You know? Like, how did I, me, regular girl from Phoenix, you know, like, how did I get here? I think by nature, I've just always been a hustler. Like, I just have always, and I don't really love that word, but maybe I would just say I'm extremely resourceful. Like, I will always find ways to turn something into multiple things. And with radio, the reason why I had used it in the way that I had was because it was such a good tool, an avenue for me to do a bunch of other things. So I felt like, oh, this is a good investment because it allows me to do other things. And so I think I had for years been looking for another thing in addition to radio, because I had always felt like this can't last forever.
Right.
You know, it's super fleeting. Even in general, entertainment is just very volatile. You know, it's like one day you're hot, one day you're not type of situation.
Right.
And I was like, I feel like I'm intelligent enough and I'm capable enough to not have that happen to me. You know what I mean? Where I'm like holding on to something for dear life, trying to stay relevant. You know, I was always like, nah, I got too many other skills. Like, yeah, I do this, but I also do this, this, and this, you know? And so I think radio allowed me to explore with that. I did travel writing for a long time. I did some modeling, which was whack, and I let people like coerce me into doing stuff like that, which is so corny. And then like, you know, I had blogs and stuff with my friends. You know, I just tried a bunch of different avenues. Right. And finally, I was like, I'm the most reliable character in this story. Like, I need to quit putting myself next to something and start betting on me, you know? Yeah. And so, yeah, I quit radio. I honored my contract to the day when I was on the morning show. It was the best contract I had ever negotiated. It was supreme. But I wasn't happy. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to honor this. I gave him my word. I signed a thing. But after that day, no mas. Like, I'm out. Yeah. And I knew I wanted to do something like maybe like a food truck or like a, I don't know, something that would still have me serving the people, because I felt like I owed so much to the city, because I was able to pay my bills. I was able to live my dreams. I was able to have these incredible stories and keep them with me because people supported me, because people listened, because people showed up when I showed up, you know? And I was like, how can I continue to show up for them, but for real? Not just the voice in the background, but like, you know, I don't have a problem serving anybody. That, you know, they say that the service is like the highest honor, you know? Yeah. And so I was like, I think I want to do that. So I had some concepts that I was playing with in the back of my head, and I came up with the name Mahalo made first, because Mahalo is a Hawaiian expression for gratitude. Right. Thank you's a little hollow. You know, mahalo's, it's a heavy word, you know? So I was like, I think I'm going to do that, and then, you know, everything made through that. Whatever I decide to make, it'll be Mahalo made. You know, so I started with the name, and then I found the trailer online. It was located in Savannah, Georgia. I packed up my truck. I think I quit my last day on air was a Friday. Okay. And I was on my way to Savannah, Georgia Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah, and I had never driven across country before or anything.
And
No, I had a boyfriend at the time.
Oh, okay.
Shouts out to you, player. He did all the driving. But I was down to go, so I was like, yeah, all right, let's go. It was my truck. He was driving my truck. But yeah, I hate driving, so he drove. Yeah, we went all the way to Savannah in 3 days. Wow. Something, and then hitched it and brought that bad boy back. And it was a wrap from there. I came home, I parked it in my backyard. We literally stripped it down to the frame in my backyard and built it back up just the two of us, and one welder. We had a guy who helped us start the welding, and then we bought a welder, and my ex finished it. But everything we did ourselves. And it was like the start of the rest of my life in the way that I was like, I didn't look to anybody anymore to build something for me, you know? I didn't go to a corporation and say, hey, this is my idea, what can you do with it, you know? It was all on me. And I cried a lot. I was in the middle of summer. I was making 6 figures before I quit. I was making nothing in 105-degree heat, going to Home Depot, watching the money drain out of my account, and learning how to sand and weld and rivet and all these things that I had no desire to learn. And I was like, man, I messed up. This is not the move, you know? But I started it, and I come from a military family. You start something, you finish it.
Yeah.
So once I finished it, and during that time I was coming up with the recipes and the concept and all this,
Okay.
I was like, damn, I'm good at this.
Yeah.
We might have a thing.
Right.
And I remember the first time I made a shave ice at home with our syrups at home, and we looked at each other, and he was like, you want me to invest in anything? Because I could invest. And I was like, nah. I got this. I'm 100% owner. I got this. And here we are. You know, it's been about 4 years, and I'm in front of my storefront, and I still got the trailer in the backyard. Someone's gonna have to pay me extra for that, because I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that bad boy.
That was
So,
the start, you know?
but it was a college of sorts. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
kind of how I looked at it. I was like, you know, I'm paying to learn all these physical skills, not to mention the mental, and then learning the business aspect and the growth. You know, I was like, you can't even pay for that in school. You know, I mean, you can, and then you could be in debt again, and then you can ask someone for a job.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But instead, I did all that in 9 months.
Yeah.
You know, so after that, I was like, oh, remember when I was in the trailer crying and everything, and I had insulation in my eyes and da-da-da. I used to do photo shoots, but now I'm crying with like everything, you know. I was like, I did mess up in a way, because I wrecked that old image of myself, and I came out on fire. Like,
Yeah.
like nobody could tell me nothing,
Right.
because like I know now that at my worst I can build things.
Absolutely.
I know now at my worst that I can create something delicious. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so it was like, when your back's against the wall, like, who are you? And I'm like, damn, I'm pretty proud of who I am when my back's against the wall. And life didn't have to throw me in that direction. I chose it. I chose the way that was gonna teach me the most and be the most fruitful for everything that comes after me, you know? So I was like, man, I can't see myself like going into another meeting or whatever being shy
Right.
or scared to ask for something or whatever. I'm like, I know my worth now.
Yeah, man.
You know, I built my own 6-figure business.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
You have a lot of integrity too.
A ton,
You do.
a ton, but it was earned. You have to earn that.
To earn it.
You have to earn it. That doesn't, nobody gets to pat you on the back like, you're a cute kid, good job. You said nice things on the radio, you know? It's like, it has to be like, you have to do the work, and there's just no way around it.
Yeah, 'cause
And
this was something completely different from radio.
do you think
A whole different venture.
anybody at the city gave a shit about me and my hard summer and my trailer?
Right.
No.
Right. No.
Didn't matter. You're
Yeah.
in my space.
Yep.
You know, I had to find a commercial kitchen to go learn. I didn't know where you bought pots and pans. I didn't know how you buy fruit in bulk. I didn't know how you know, I just had to do it. And I had to go in other people's arena and say, do you mind? Can you help me? I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I came from a space where people were asking me, how do I do it? You know, and I did that electively.
Yeah.
You know, so it was like,
It was a very humbling experience. Not that you're not a humble person, but that's a humbling experience. Because you're not-
constantly.
Yeah.
It's a constant. So now you learn something and you're like, oh, I feel pretty good about myself, blah, 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 blah. And then my trailer breaks down. And I got to learn how to do that too
Yeah.
on the I-10. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and here I was this time last year taking selfies with Rihanna.
Right.
And here I am now on the I-10
Crying my eyes out. Yeah. That's right. Exactly.
in the same space of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's some sick part about me that loves that.
Yeah.
That loves that fullness of life, the whole journey, every season.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think that is what sets my brand apart. I think it's what sets me apart without it being negative.
Yeah.
And I think, I wasn't sure if people were going to support this or not. I knew people loved the radio stuff.
Right.
It's easy to love that. You're talking to really cool people.
Yeah.
I would want to hear that too, But, hey, I made this thing in my backyard, and do you want to buy this?
Right.
Hopefully you like it.
Yeah.
That's a way more like,
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this could go real bad,
But you always got to bet on yourself.
And on this city, man, honestly, I say that with my whole heart. I said it on my last day on air, and I say it here all the time. And I used to say it every single Saturday and Sunday when we would open the trailer and there would be a line around the block. Yeah. I would say, I'm here because you guys let me be here. You guys willing to wait, you guys willing to tune in, you guys willing to follow me on Instagram and laugh at me for the 60th time going to Home Depot, like building this trailer. It's like, I don't know what anyone could do to deserve that kind of support. Yeah. And for whatever reason, when I do silly ideas like this, man, the city shows up. Shit's crazy. That is crazy. And I am just so grateful. So there was no better thing for me to do than to name my company Mahalo and say, I owe everything to you guys. I'm here because you allow me to be. And that's why I crack up a little bit when people come in and they're like, you're here? I didn't think you would be here. I'm like, who else would be here? It's me, I made it. Of course I'm here. And of course I'm gonna serve you. And of course I'm gonna get you your napkin. And of course don't worry about the spill. I'm gonna mop it too. Don't worry, because it is my honor to be here and to have this ability and to be able to have the freedom to bet on myself and to have had the ability to save money and work a cool job and have time to ponder ideas that I could create, So I owe it to everybody to try my best and to not live scared. What a cop-out it would have been after all that support to just stay comfortable.
Right.
Just keep taking the check.
Right.
Nah, no way. Couldn't have been me. It just couldn't have been. It's a toss-up between the fact that I would do what it takes, whatever that is. I'll do it.
Yeah.
I will.
That's what I was gonna say right now.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
You
walk with integrity, man.
And my ex, man, he's a very smart person. And he would always try to think about how to get around the work, how he could outsmart the system so that he could get around the work,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I really liked that, when we were building Mahalo Made and stuff, it helped get around some steps and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was like, well, I'm running out of money, dog, so I'm gonna go try to get a job at Sprouts while we build this trailer because we gotta have some money coming in. It can't all be going out, and I got things I gotta build, and I got deadlines to make, and this trailer gotta be up in 6 months, and da-da-da, and I was freaking out because I've been working since I was 15, so the fact that I didn't have that, and it's scary, People, follow your dreams, yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah, man.
It's terrifying. Just so you know, it's terrifying, and even if you have a plan, it's still terrifying. So I was terrified, and but I'll do the work. And you know what? I couldn't get hired at Sprouts, by the way. I wasn't qualified, apparently. I even tried to scoop ice cream somewhere. They said I wasn't qualified. So I came home crying like, oh, I'm a loser. I can't even get a job at Sprouts.
Right.
And he was like, yo, you're crazy. Like, you have such a network of people, and like, you could call the radio station and go back. You could do a number of things, And I was like, nah. So I ended up sacking up and like stopped being a baby and started learning how to do everything, kept myself busy and just saw it through, And it wasn't until years later, and it was one of the highest compliments I had been paid. He goes, I did all that stuff, and we opened up a pizza spot downtown together.
Okay.
And he runs it and all that, and I just invested or whatever. But at the time, we were both trying to get the building and doing all this stuff. And
You got a pizza spot too?
yeah. And he called me and he goes, hey, this is hard as shit.
Right.
And you know, the whole time I was doing the trailer, he was like, how hard could it be? You pour syrup on ice, how hard could it be? Go to the city, get your life, how hard could it be?
Right.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Great. You see, we didn't work out, right? You can't be talking to your partner like that.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
no, we're still cool though. I didn't say I told you so when he called me, but what he said was, he was like, the thing about you is you'll do the work.
Yeah, man.
He's like, you don't try to outsmart the system. You don't try to nothing. You'll just do the work.
Right.
And I was like, because at the end of the day, you can't cheat. You can't cheat the work. You can't. It's the most honest thing you can do is the work. It doesn't matter what anyone says about you. You look at the work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you're ugly or cute or beautiful or anything. Look at the work. And if, like, it's just the most honest thing you could do is the work.
Yeah.
So I do the work. And outside of that, I try to make people feel good while I'm doing the work. You know, I hope I make you feel heard. I hope that when you had an interaction with me that you felt like you couldn't tell me anything but the truth. And so I hope I'm remembered for that. Doing the work and how I make people feel. You know, I always tell people all the time, you maybe never heard me on the radio. You never knew I have a food truck. When I go places, I don't wear my Mahalo shirt everywhere and say, hey, did you know that I own this place? Like, nothing. Yeah. I'm just living my life just like you. I'm getting my Subway or whatever. But I always try to give somebody something so that they have a little bit of smile or a little bit of laugh or a little bit of my energy from that day, you know? And I try to do that here too, just so that they can say, I don't know who she was and I don't remember what she said, but I remember I felt good when she left, you know? Without it being too much, I was raised by somebody who didn't want a kid.
Okay.
So, and she expressed that to me a bunch. So I always had this like overachiever thing to try to deal with trauma. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like, look how smart I am. Look how fast I am. Look how good at sports I am too, you know? Look at how, and I didn't realize that till you get older and you start to unpack some of your own stuff, you know what I mean? Your inner child stuff, you know what I mean? So I didn't know that that's why I did what I did.
Right.
But a lot of that comes from not loving yourself because you didn't have a well to tap into, you know what I mean? I wasn't given that out the gate. I wasn't, wow, Mia, you're so special, you could do anything. That wasn't given to me, you know? But it did come from other places, right? You know, community members, teachers at school, my stepmom, you know, like all these different things. And I welcomed it, you know, I ate it up because I was like, oh, I didn't know that that's what it's supposed to be like, right? And then after you learn that and you learn, you know, how to accept it in other forms, you still got to deal with the self stuff, right?
Yeah.
You still got to look back and go, but do I love myself?
Right.
You know what I mean? Do I love what I'm doing? Am I who I say I am?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
with the lights on, with the lights off type of
Right.
thing, you know? So how does it feel to be, what did you say, special
You are special. You know what I mean?
and loved?
And extremely loved.
It feels refreshing now. I think it feels refreshing because I've come to a space where I'm very happy with who I am. I'm very happy with what I've done and why I did it.
Right.
And there's a lot of peace in that. There's a lot of peace in when all your things are aligned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that I don't stress out. Doesn't mean that I got life figured out. You know, nothing's figured out.
You're human.
Nothing's figured out.
Yeah.
But I think I finally accepted that I am loved. finally, you know, and I'm just grateful that I realized it now with my health and with my age and with, you know, I'm glad that that's a concept that I can accept without feeling any kind of hurt, you know? Like now I can feel like, you know,
It's okay.
I guess I'm a little special, yeah. Maybe, you know, and extremely loved. Well, look at the city, you know? Look at where you're at. Look at how, you know, when I started the trailer, my parents was like, are you okay? Like, are you going through a thing? Like, you have a really good job, like, you know, whatever. And, you know, regardless, the first weekend that I opened their trailer, I had 20 family members working with me. Everyone with the shirt on, everybody doing what needed to be done. I got in a car accident that day. I got a concussion, my head was bleeding. I should have just not ever opened. You know, somebody lost control of their vehicle on the 10 and smashed right into the truck. And, you know, it was bad. And I worked. I did the work. I still worked after that. With my head bleeding and everything, I worked. And then I got done at like maybe 2 o'clock in the morning that night, and then we had to run it again the next day. Because it was a 2-day festival we were working. And the doctor told me that had I not worked the whole time, that I would have induced a coma had I laid down. That it was the working that saved me.
The fact that you stayed awake.
The fact that I stayed up.
Wow.
And then I kept doing it. I had one eye dilated and one not. So if anyone has pictures of me from that day, that's why. I look crazy.
Wow.
I look nuts. But I didn't know, and all I thought was like, I gotta do the work. I gotta do the work. You know, I got this far. I didn't come this far just to come this far. Like, you know, I gotta do the work or whatever. My family was there. So when everyone's there, I wasn't worried about the concussion. Everyone is here. This is a highlight of my life. Like, they're behind me and they thought I was crazy when I left, you know?
Right.
And now they're here. I look to my left, I look to my right. My dad's there, my niece is there, my sister's helping serve, you know? None of us know. We're not a food family business, and we never did this.
Right.
My parents are military, 26 years, retired. Like, they take orders, they do them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm over here trying to live my dream. My dad's like, what the hell? Like,
Right.
you know, I'm like, Dad, I'm not happy at my job. He's like, you think I like my job? Shut up, you know? Yeah, you just do what you gotta do, you know? And I'm over here searching for more, you know?
Yeah.
But to still see that support, that physical, you know, they drove 2 hours one way and then 2 hours back that night, you know, just to come be there and see, you know? And that was the first time, really. And it's not like they haven't been supportive the whole time. You guys have. I love you. It's just that's when I understood it.
Yeah.
That's when I accepted it, you know? And it's a lot of time. Life's a funny thing. It's just a trip, the whole thing. And a lot of it is what you tell yourself, you know? My family probably like, what the hell? We support you through anything. We love you through anything. But I understand that. But till I got it. Till you start to say the things that other people say to you. Dave, you're so special, man. You got a gift. People love talking to you, and you're like, yeah, I don't know.
Right.
And then you see the views rack up, and you see the cameras come out, and you see your buddy that's willing to be here.
Right.
Bring the kid, let's go, let's make this happen. I'm down.
Absolutely.
It's not until then that you can go, oh shit, I am loved, I am special,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's refreshing for me to finally accept it, but it feels fucking good. Feels good. I guess I would want to shout out, like, number one, the city of Phoenix. I owe you everything. I say it all the time, and I won't stop saying it. I would also like to shout out all my family, related or not, you know, because related don't make you family. You know what I'm saying? I can't help who I'm related to, but my family, you know who you are. My friends I consider family. All my family on Kauai. All my ancestors, because everything that they passed down got me here. It made me strong enough to be here and to be successful. And I would like to shout out some of the people who helped me along the way. A lot of people helped me along the way, in radio and in life. Just shouts out to Carly Hustle, who's been a good friend of mine, and you know, I don't want to name drop. There's a lot of people, and you know who you are, and I'm super grateful. And hit me up at The Lady Law. I still have that name even though I'm not on air. So if you want to find me at The Lady Law, TikTok, Instagram, all the things. And Mahalo made too. So come see us. I'll be in the shop. Come through. And shouts out to you guys for being here and for your time and for your concept and for you being intrigued by me for some reason. I don't know why, but thank you for your time.
And there you have it. Man, I don't even know what to say, man. I mean, that was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Lady La. You know, that was very inspiring for me as well. And, you know, just a true definition of not just a strong woman, but just a strong human being, you know? And it's like when you have the right drive, nothing can stop you. And she's definitely a prime example of that. So this was really a treat. Make sure you guys are following her on social media. Shout out to my brother Jimmy Nelson on the camera. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend. All right. And if you guys like what you see and you feel like being generous, go ahead and hit the Cash App there as well. Anything, greatly appreciated. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this one just as much as I did. And until next time, stay tuned, stay blessed, stay healthy. Just give me 5, y'all.